Hello students, welcome back. This is Vivek and we are into our second lecture of class 9 Civics chapter 2, what is democracy and why democracy. In our previous lecture we have seen the definition of the democracy, what is the democracy, how this word is derived, and we have seen the difference between a dictatorial government or a non-democratic government and a democratic government. Now, in this lecture, we will be concluding our this chapter. We have certain topics over here, but we will be discussing today. We have features of the democracy. Next, we will talk about there are certain arguments in support of the democracy, and last, we will be discussing about the arguments against the democracy. So, let's start our topic today. First, we will be starting with features of the democracy. Very important topic, guys. What are the features of the democracy? The first feature says that the final decision making power must rest in the hand of the elected representative. Final decision making power must rest in the hands of the elected representatives. As all of you are aware, democracy means all about electing your representatives who will rule on your behalf, who will make laws on your behalf. So, what would be the point if someone whom you have elected do not have any power to make the laws for you, to take any decision for you? So, can we say such type of country a democratic country? So, for a country to become a democratic country or democracy, final decision making power must rest in the hands of the elected representatives, the people who are elected by the citizens of that country. Here we'll take the example of Pakistan. Let's talk about the story of the Pakistan. What happened in our neighboring country? And 1999, there was a General Pervez Musharraf. He did a military coup and he overthrew the democratically elected government, and he became a dictator over there. In 1999, he did a military coup, General Pervez Musharraf, and overthrown the democratically elected government over there. In 2002, when media criticized him, when people talk about that, he destroyed the democracy, he did a referendum in the country. He did a referendum in the country and extended his tenure, his regime for 5 more years, and declared himself as the president of that country. He declared himself in 2002 as the president of that country. And he did several malpractices and fraud in that referendum. So we cannot say those elections, that referendum was free and fair. That was full of frauds and full of malpractices. In August 2002, he passed a legal framework order. Legal framework order means he changed the constitution of the country, and he said he can dismiss any national assembly or any state assembly without any reason. What it means, national assembly means the representative chosen by the people of that country. State assembly means the representative chosen by the people of that state. But what he did, instead of resting the power to those chosen representative of people, he vested that power into himself. He declared himself as the president and said I have the unlimited power. Whatever the decision should be taken, that will be taken by me. So we cannot say, guys, this as a democratic setup, because for a country to become a democratic, it is very important that the final decision making power should rest in the hand of the elected representative. Musharraf was not elected representative. What he did, he came into power by force. He did a military coup, and after that, by doing several fraud and malpractices in that referendum, he declared himself as the president. So, in that case, the elected representatives were those who were chosen in that National Assembly and State Assembly, but they do not have any power. If they do not have any power, so we cannot say it as a democratic country. So, that was the example of Pakistan, and you can say for a country to be a democratic, the first feature says for a country to be a democratic, the final decision making power must rest in the hand of the elected representative. Those representatives which are chosen by the people of that country by giving them votes. Next we have is free and fair elections. For a country to be democratic, it is very important that the election should be held at regular interval of times, and election should be free and fair. Free and fair means there shouldn't be any fraud, there shouldn't be any booth capturing, there shouldn't be any dysfunctioning of or into the EVMs. So it should be free and fair of malpractices and fraud. Election should be free. Everyone should have the proper chance. Everyone should have been given a chance to win the election. The losing candidate should have the chance to lose the election. Like, it will give you the example of China. China, guys, our neighboring country China follows multi-party system. Do you think so? No, they do not follow multi-party system. They do have a single party system. In China, there is a single party, Communist Party of China, and to become the representative or to contest any election, every political party need to take approval from this Chinese Communist Party, and to go into the National People Congress, as the official parliament of China, they have to take permission. So there is no political competition, guys. Only single political party, and since ages this Chinese Communist Party is ruling China. There is no competition, there are no options available to people, so we cannot say it as a democratic country, because we are democratic countries. Elections should be held at regular intervals. Though elections are held in China after every 5 years, but we cannot say these elections as fair election. There is a single party, there is no scope for competition, people do not have the real options. The next example we'll take for Mexico, guys. Mexico got independence in 1930s, and Mexico also held in elections at every 6 years interval. Every 6 years there are elections in Mexico, but since 1930s there is a party that is named as PRI. The full form stands for Institutional Revolutionary Party. This party is into the power since 1930s. Due to several malpractices and fraud they are doing in the elections. What they are doing, they are forcing the government teachers to ask the parents to force them to give vote to PRI. They are using or misusing every government machinery available with the Mexican government. So PRI is into power since ages. They are not allowing any other political. There are several other political parties, not like China that they have a single party system. They have other political parties, but the contest is not free and fair, guys. PRI is using, Institutional Revolutionary Party is using several malpractices and fraud to win elections, and they are again and again and again coming to the power. So a country to become a democratic country, guys, this second feature is also very important, that election should be free and fair. It should give real options to the people of that country. They should have options to choose from, and they should have been fair chances of losing or winning a candidate. So free and fair elections are must for a democratic setup. Next feature we have is very important one: one vote and one value. One vote and one value. I hope you all have heard about universal adult franchise, guys. Universal adult suffrage, you can say, is a right to vote. Every adult citizen do have a right to vote. In terms of India, we have 18 years or 18 years above. The person who is of 18 years or 18 years above age do have a right to vote. Every adult citizen should have a right to vote, and the value of that vote should be equal. It shouldn't be discriminated on the basis of caste, color, gender, etc., on the basis of nationality. Every person who has the voting right should have the same value for his or her vote. If we will take the example of Saudi Arabia, until 2015, women do not have any political right, or women do not have voting rights in Saudi Arabia, guys. So we cannot say such type of country a democratic country, because every adult citizen is not having voting right. There is a discrimination on the basis of gender. Women were not able to give votes until 2015. That was the case of Saudi Arabia. So for Saudi Arabia to become a democratic country, every woman should also have a right to vote. Next we have the example of, we'll take the example of Estonia. In Estonia, guys, the Russian minority people do not have a right to vote. They find it very difficult to gain the right to vote. So in that we cannot say that is a democratic country. Estonia is not democratic because the Russian minority, there shouldn't be a discrimination on the basis of creed, ethnicity, or on the basis of religion. Every person should have the right to vote. If we consider the example of Fiji, the value of the vote is different. The value of the vote of the indigenous Fiji. Indigenous means the local residents of the country, the local residents of Fiji do have more value of vote as compared to Indian Fijis. The Fijis, the Indians who have relocated over there, who have migrated over there in Fiji, do not have like as much value of their vote as compared to indigenous Fiji. So we have taken an example of Estonia, Saudi Arabia, and Fiji. So these type of democratic setups cannot be termed as democratic, else there is right to vote for everyone, or the value of the vote is equal. Next feature, the last one we have, guys, for the democracy, there is rule of law and respect for rights of the people. Rule of law. What it means? Rule of law. As you know, guys, in India there is a constitution. Constitution is what? Constitution is rule book. How the country will be governed. Everything is mentioned in that rule book. That is the constitution. Rule of law says that every person is equal against the law, be it the prime minister of the country, be it the president, or be a local labor worker, right? Every person is equal against the law. If he or she commits the same crime, be it the president or the prime minister or some local people, the punishment will be same for each and every person. And respect for rights says that citizens should have particular rights. As in the Indian Constitution, we do have fundamental rights. So same way, rights should be there for each and every citizen. There shouldn't be any discrimination in terms of law and in terms of rights. If we take the example of Zimbabwe in got independence from white minority in the era of 1970s, it got the independence. What happened in Zimbabwe? There was a party who was fighting for the rights. The party name was ZANU-PF. That was ZANU-PF was the name of the political party, and the name of the famous leader over there of this political party who fought for black people over there from freeing them up from minority whites. The person who fought and was very famous was Robert Mugabe. He was the head of the ZANU-PF and the first president of free Zimbabwe or independent Zimbabwe. What he did, guys, he was though famous in the country, but as the time passes by, he started using fraud practices, malpractices to stay in the power. He amended the constitution of Zimbabwe several times and invested several powers under his belt. He became the president, and he disrespected the rights of the citizens of the Zimbabwe. He declared himself a dictator, you can say. Though he was elected initially because he was very famous, but as the time passes, he used several fraud practices, several malpractices to remain into power. He centralized the power into the single hand. So guys, we cannot say such type of democratic such type of setup is a democratic setup. To become a democratic setup, rule of law must be there. There must be certain principle. There must be certain rules and regulation. Accordingly, the country should be governed, and the citizens should have the rights also. Citizens should have certain rights, guys. So this was all about the features of the democracy. Let me reiterate. It's like the first feature says the final decision must rest in the hands of the elected representative. Those who are chosen by the people should have the real power. The example we have taken was of Pakistan. Pervez Musharraf did a military coup. Next we have free and fair elections. The election should be free and fair without any fraud and malpractices. We have seen the example of China and Mexico over here. The country should have equal rights regarding in terms of voting rights, one vote and one value. Every person, every adult person should have the voting rights, and the value of that vote should be equal. We have taken the example of Fiji, Estonia and Saudi Arabia. Next we have last one was the rule of law. Every person should be equal in front of the law, and a citizen of a country should have particular rights. We have seen the example of Zimbabwe or Robert Mugabe, right? Next topic we have is what are the arguments against democracy? Why do we need a democracy? What is the reason that a country need a democracy? Guys, if we compare democracy as we did in our previous lecture, we have compared democratic regimes with non-democratic regimes. What we have seen? This is the best form of the government. So first argument in favor of the democracy is this is the best form of government, and people have several rights as compared to non-dictatorial regime. So you can say the first argument in support of the democracy, this is the best form of government. Next we have why this is the best form of government. The best form of government, why it is because it is an accountable, responsive and legitimate form of government. Accountable and responsible. The government is responsive and responsible and accountable to the miseries of the people who elected them. Those people who have elected the government, those people who have elected or chosen their representatives are responsible for them because they were given votes by the common people of that country. So they are responsible or they are accountable. If we take an example of famine in the eras of 1960s, guys, in the decade of 1960s, there was a great crisis in terms of famine in China and India. Several millions people died in China, but the catastrophic effect in India was a bit less severe as compared to China. What was the reason? The reason being the democratic government in India took several measures to feed their citizens. The reason being because India is a democracy and democratic government is accountable and responsible for the needs of the citizen. So you can say a democratic government is accountable and a responsive form of government. The last one I use is the legitimate also. Legitimate means the government which is chosen by the people. That the government is not by force. That government was chosen by the people. So you can say that is the legitimate form of government. Second point, support or you can say argument in support of democracy is quality decision making. Guys, you might be aware that while taking any decision, while making any law, there are the certain procedure which a government have to follow. First they have to debate on that bill, first they have to discuss on any law they are going to make into either of the houses, either it's Rajya Sabha or Lok Sabha. Once the discussion is complete, the bills should be separately passed from each of the house. The bills should be separately cleared from each of the house by at least 2/3 of the majority. 2/3 of the majority should say yes to any decision taken. Once this decision is taken, half of the legislative assemblies of the country, or you can say half of the states of the country, should ratify that bill, right? And at the end, the bill should be sent to the president of our country for his consent, right? So this is the whole process. This is time taking, time consuming, a bit lengthy process, but what it comes output as it is of worth because the quality of decision making is better because so much deliberation, so much discussions are going on there. So there is a bit of chance you can say that the decision taken was wrong. So you can say democracy, argument in favor of democracy is it improves the quality of decision making by deliberations, by discussions. Next we have is enhances the dignity of the citizen. A democracy enhances the dignity of citizen. How it enhances the dignity of citizen? Guys, every person in our country do have the right to vote. They have the right to vote. There is no discrimination. Untouchability has been abolished. There is no discrimination on the basis of caste, color, creed, gender, religion, etc. Every person who is of 18 years or above 18 years of age do have a right to vote. So it gives a sense of pride to every citizen that we have the right irrespective of our caste, we have the right irrespective of color, irrespective of our gender. So it enhances the dignity, self-respect of the citizens of a country. Next argument in favor of democracy or in support of democracy is it corrects its own mistakes. Guys, how it corrects its own mistakes? We have seen there is a quality in decision making, and by chance, if there is a mistake in any decision, we can amend our laws. In the constitution, we have the flexibility to amend our laws, to change our laws. If we do have, like if we have seen that something. Some law is on the disputed side, or there are some disputes in any clause of any law, so we can correct our own mistake. Our constitution provides such type of flexibility that we can correct our mistakes. So the support in favor of democracy corrects its own mistakes. Last one, guys, it deals with differences and conflicts. Democracy deals with differences and conflicts. Differences. We have a diverse country. Several religions are there, several languages are there, different cultures there. People do have different habits of talking, speaking, or eating. Even like their culture is different, their geography is different, land form is different. So, in such a huge, diverse country, it is really important to negotiate between peoples. So if there is any kind of conflict or is there any kind of difference between the people or between the citizens of the country, democracy deal with such conflicts and differences with the help of negotiations, with the help of deliberations, with the help of negotiations. Democracy deal with the differences and conflicts, and ultimately unity and integrity of the country is maintained. So these were the arguments, guys, in support of democracy. First one is democracy is accountable, responsible, legitimate form of government. It improves the quality of decision making. It enhances the dignity of the citizen. It provides a room to correct its own mistakes, and it deals with the differences and the conflicts with the help of negotiation in such a diverse country like ours country, right? So these were the points regarding the support of the democracy. So guys, democracy is not, I will not say is a jaturi chadi. It's not an ideal scenario. What we are seeing is a nominal democracy. Ideal means a fairy tale. Everything is like good and the best things are going on. So we can say that thing is ideal democracy. What we have is nominal democracy. Nominal democracy do have certain constraint also. Certain constraint means certain faults are there, certain drawbacks are there in the democracy, and what we are discussing now is what are the drawbacks of the democracy. What are the arguments against democracy? The first argument says it leads to the instability into the political scenario of the country. It leads to instability in the political structure of the country. How? Guys, after every 5 years, governments keep on changing. Right? Governments keep on changing. And the thing is, to understand a country, to understand the diversity in the political structure of a country, 5 years is not as much as time required to understand the diversity of the country. So, government keeps on changing. After every 5 years, it leads to political instability in a country. So, this is the argument against the democracy. Second, we have democracy is all about power play, is all about political competition, is all about that kursi ki ladai. people keep on getting involved with each other for the in dirty tricks, for this power play, for this political competition. There is no scope for morality. You know the political situation of our country as of now. I don't think there is a scope for morality as of now between several political parties. They keep on changing. They keep on charging each other.